Hi, this video is on conduction. Heat can be transferred from one place to another by conduction, and conduction usually occurs in solids. Conduction of heat energy is where particles with more kinetic energy, the hotter particles, pass on some of their extra kinetic energy to their neighbouring particles by vibrating. So here we have a solid piece of material. It is solid, which means that the particles are in a fixed position. When there is no heat acting on this piece of material, all of the particles will have the same amount of energy. They will all be vibrating at the same rate around their fixed position. Let's suppose now that we place a Bunsen burner under the left side of this material and we switch the Bunsen burner on. The switching of the Bunsen burner on results in the particles on the left having more energy, which results in them vibrating around their fixed position more intensively. The particles at the warm end pass on some of their kinetic energy to their neighbouring particles, who then pass on some of this energy to their neighbouring particles, and this will eventually warm up the other end of this piece of material. The warm particles pass on some of their energy because they have relatively more energy compared to the particle next to them, which is cooler. They will keep passing on energy to each other until both of the particles have the same amount of energy, and this is known as conduction. The rate at which conduction occurs depends on the characteristics of the material. Conduction is usually faster in denser solids because the particles are closer together. This is because the closer the particles are to each other, the quicker they are able to transfer/pass on some of their kinetic energy to their neighbouring particles. Metals are good conductors of heat because the electrons in metals can move freely. The electrons at the hot end of the piece of metal move faster and collide with other free electrons from other atoms, thus transferring energy. As the electrons can move freely, the transfer of kinetic energy is faster than if the electrons had to stay within their own atom. Poor conductors of heat are known as insulators. An example of a poor conductor is wool or fiberglass. Let's now have a look at a product, and we're going to look at what the conduction characteristics are of the materials that have been chosen to produce this product. The product that we're going to look at is a saucepan. The pan part of the saucepan is usually made out of metal, and this is because metal is a good conductor of heat. So when the hob is turned on, the metal in the pan gets hot, and this allows the food to be easily cooked. The handle of the saucepan is often made out of plastic, and this is because plastic is a poor conductor of heat, i.e. it is an insulator. So when the saucepan is on the hob, the handle doesn't get hot because this is a poor conductor of heat. This means that the user is able to hold the handle of the saucepan while they are cooking their food, and they can move the saucepan around the kitchen or on or off the hob.